We've got a few code changes in roofing this year. 2015 code book kicked in last year, so there are some changes a lot of people don't know about. A lot of contractors haven't kept up with this year. So the Michigan code book is a lot different than what the specs and the manufacturers are asking for. Code is what it is, but manufacturer spec no longer supersedes code, so there are some changes.
Well, for us at Kanga Roof, it really comes down to being a family-run organization, and really the founding of the company 14 years ago with my dad. It's about treating people right, doing things in a transparent fashion, and at the end of the job, making sure it's done once and it's done right, so you never have to deal with it again. That's really what it boils down to. It really boils down to roofing's hard work. It's messy, it's dirty, it's dangerous, but it ain't rocket science. There's a right way to do things. There's a right way to treat people. There's a right way to treat your employees.
I think it's the attention to detail and the personal touch that we put on every job. I'm actually involved with the crew in every aspect of every project, as opposed to just selling jobs and orchestrating the jobs. I actually participate on every one of the jobs.
Well, we are Platinum certified through Owens Corning, so we hold the highest accreditations. We are veteran owned. I'm an Army veteran, so I think that in and of itself, how we run our organization, how we expect our employees to handle themselves, carry themselves, is a little bit better than our competition. So I think we bring a lot of attention to detail, a lot of peace of mind. Really is what it boils down to. When people hire us, they know they're hiring the best guys in the business.
Yeah.
To be done around it in your home. When there's money to be spent, you don't want to go wrong. We're people you can trust. Oh, get advice from us. What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com.
It's the weekend. Perfect time to hire it done. Welcome back, everyone. My name's Adam Helfman. I'm your local home improvement expert since 2005. Started Hire It Done back then. The reason why I started was because I'm not a do-it-yourselfer. I'm not anti-do-it-yourself. I'm just pro do it for me. And then when I started the website, HireItDone.com, people started flooding to the website, and the number one request that everyone had was roofing. Second one was like concrete and then handyman and things like that. But overwhelming, I'm like, you see a trend. Nobody's going to do their own roof. It's not like in the old days where you're like, oh, okay, hey, Billy, get your 16 brothers, Billy Jr., Billy the Third, and Billy the Fifth. Well, I'm going to get you a 6-pack of beer, and we're going to do a roof. And everyone's like, okay, let's roll. Well, from my culture, that don't happen. From the neck down, as you all know, I'm worth minimum wage. So I had to hire a pro. And then I noticed that people didn't want to do roofs themselves. No one's going on the roof and saying, oh, yeah, and they're curling the shingles. I got flashing problems. None of this. So we learned that roofing is the number one not do-it-yourself project. So I happen to be lucky when I created Hire It Done. And I learned how to go find roofers that actually know what they're doing. And I got to be honest with you, my friends. It takes 10 interviews with 10 roofers and only 3 make it. That's how the disparity in the education of the roofing industry and the lack of experience that's across the board. So I'm really proud because we have the best roofers assembled. It's like the Avengers a little bit. Not to be corny or anything, but it's the truth. So if you really want a roof that doesn't leak, I challenge anyone in the industry to find better roofers. So today we've assembled part of our team of roofers at Hire It Done, and we have probably the best in the industry here in the studio. If you want to see us on Facebook, put a face behind the names, you can. Just go on Facebook Live on the 97.1 Ticket or Hire It Done page. But let me introduce to you the Hire It Done pre-screened roofers. We'll start with Mr. Aaron Snoeberger.
Good morning, Adam.
Tell everyone a little bit about your company, your name, your company, and everything.
My name's Aaron Snoeberger. I'm from Suburban Home Improvement, also known as We're the Guys Roofing. Been in business a long time. We love what we do. We're happy to do it for everybody, and we take pride in everything that we do. So
awesome. Yeah, you guys do a great job, for sure. Also in studio is Brad Klaus from Peaks Construction. Good morning, Brad.
Morning, Adam.
How long you been a roofer?
Forever, I think. It feels that way anyways.
Yes.
About 25 years we've been doing it. We're small, family-owned, family-operated.
Perfect.
And we're doing the best we can out there for everybody.
Well, homeowner feedback always says so, which is a good
Like
thing.
to hear.
Yeah. And we've got Mr. Bill Burkhardt Jr.
You got it. Good morning, Adam. How's everything?
I am kicking butt, taking names, and hungry.
That means you're hopping to it, right?
There you go. Tell everyone about your company.
Yeah, so my name is Bill Jr. I'm from Four Seasons Kanga Roof. We are a family-run business. My dad is the president. My brother Matthew handles operations. Believe it or not, they're actually meeting this morning with Brown Boys Roofing from Arkansas, just learning, right, how we can get
Peer
better.
network.
You got it. So what they can steal and bring back and what we can offer to our clients. So it's a good day.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Happy to be here.
Of course. And then, of course, we've got the famous Greg Tittle from Tittle Brothers.
Good morning.
Give everyone a little bit of reminder who you are.
I'm Greg Tittle with Tittle Brothers. Been in the roofing industry for almost 30 years now. Veteran owned, operated. So we are platinum certified through Owens Corning. We hold the highest accreditations in the industry. So we're very proud of what we do and who we are.
That's awesome. So if anyone has a roofing question or a comment, you can text us 97136. And since we've assembled the best roofers in the industry, I want to just, let's get a general idea of the pulse of what's going on in the business. So, Brad, I'll ask you really quick. Is it a good year? Is it a medium year? Like 3 years ago, all the roofs got blown off in Michigan. We had that huge storm, and it took a lot of the roofs out of the marketplace. But what is it like for you this year?
This year, it's actually been very well. We started off on a really good note. The only problem we've had was the rain. It's put everybody so far behind this year, and now we're in a drought, and we got the heat. So once again, it's slowing us down a little bit. But I think every company out there is having the same issues that we're seeing as well. But it has been a very good year so far.
So if someone calls you this week, says, I heard you on the Roofing Roundtable, you get a quote. If they ask you when you can start, what are you thinking?
Depending on the weather and how everything goes within a month.
Okay, so you're about 4 weeks. Smart. If it doesn't rain, though.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been doing that much lately.
Yeah. Well,
more of a fire hazard than a rainstorm.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Aaron, we got Aaron Snoeberger from We're the Guys. So how's your year so far?
I'd have to agree with Brad. It's the rain has killed us. The heat is starting to kill us. I wouldn't say that it's been the busiest year, but we're certainly, there's a lot of challenges out there because of these things that are, I'd say we're probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, so that's good. Aaron, let me ask you this. If a homeowner has a guy who can do their roof and he says, I can get out there in 2 days, should they be wary?
I'd be a little leery of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because, busy roofers are the ones that people get a lot of referrals from and things like that.
Occasionally, we're able to shift the schedule and such that geographics have a lot to do with it too. If I've got, a 15 square and a 20 square, and they're right down the street from each other, it's likely that I'm gonna do the smart thing and do them both right pretty much at the same time.
Well, that makes sense. And, again, economies to scale, right?
That's right.
That makes sense. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We've got the Roofing Roundtable of 2019. We've assembled the All-Stars. Brad, Klaus from Peaks Construction, Aaron Snoeberger, We're the Guys, Bill Burkhardt Jr., Kanga Roof, because they hop to it, and Greg Tittle, Tittle Brothers. Forget about the others. I'm Adam Helfman. Keep it locked in. We'll be right back. It's Adam Helfman. We've got the Roofing Roundtable 2019 in studio. If you have a roofing question, text us 97136. We just had one come in. Do you guys do insurance jobs? Bill Burkhardt from Kanga Roof. Bill, how's it going?
Everything is awesome.
I love to hear that. So do you guys do insurance work?
Yeah, we do. We do a pretty large amount of it, and that's been a steady increase over the last 2 years, just as we've done a lot of investment to really understanding it, making sure that we have the right forms, the right processes, the right language. The line I use all the time now with homeowners is, I feel like Sam Bernstein, but it's just to make sure you're properly taken care of. Because if an insurance company doesn't have to pay for it because you don't know any better, they're not gonna.
Right. Well, the insurance companies have the double D.
That's right.
Deny and delay.
There's a whole book written on it. The scariest stat I heard recently was in 2000, 77 cents of every dollar of premiums went back out to pay homeowners' claims. In 2015, it was down to 44 cents of every dollar in premiums.
That, to me, means the insurance company's making a heck of a lot of profit.
Yep.
That's how it happens. Listen, it's that's an insurance. It's a hedge. It's like gambling. I got it. But when a homeowner has like a branch fall through a roof or a tree falls on it or whatever, they call you. You'll come out. You'll tarp it. You'll temporarily.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you'll negotiate with the insurance company on the repair.
So it's not even negotiation. It's if you know the rules of how insurance has to operate and you use the right software, they really are beholden to having to do these certain things, right? And one of the big things that I stress to every homeowner is, if you have a claim, hire a contractor before you contact your insurance company, a contractor who has a history with insurance restoration work, because the first thing the insurance company is going to tell you to do is go out and get 3 bids. Well,
Right.
which one is the insurance company going to have you pick? The really expensive one or the really cheap one?
Right, I got you. Makes sense. That's logical and common sense. So, and of course, homeowners who have insurance, your obligation is to mitigate your damages, so you really have to tarp that roof right away.
Yep.
Anyone has has Brad ever fallen through a roof? Someone just texted that. Thanks. Brad's laughing right now. Have you?
Once.
Once?
One time.
All right. Listen, you walked in here. You didn't look like you had any limps, so you look good.
No, I broke a few ribs. That was about it.
Yeah,
I
I
walked
gotcha.
away from it.
So, Bill, let me ask you, the technology in roofing.
Yeah.
Roofs, as you know, have changed. They're asphalt roofs that have petroleum based, and over the years they put less and less and less petroleum in it. They add fillers.
Yep.
Have you seen change in the products?
Yeah, I mean, there's always something new coming out. We were sitting outside talking about, there's a new eco-friendly shingle from Malarkey that supposedly is like planting a giant oak tree in your backyard for the first 10 years. Right now the big thing that for a lot of homeowners I think will make a big difference are the SBS shingles that, Certainteed and GF, and I think Owens Corning either just came out with it or is about to. That really provides some wonderful impact resistance. The algae protection has gotten a lot better, so it's always evolving. There's always a change. There's always an evolution, even in the metal roofing.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So let's talk about brand of shingle. Greg, you've been how long? Almost 30 years in the business now?
Yes. Yep.
So you've seen every brand. And if a homeowner calls Tittle Brothers for a roof, and they say, well, I did the research and I got to have this brand. Will you just sell them the brand that they want? Or
Sure.
You,
I mean, we accommodate our customers. We push them towards the Owens Corning duration shingle. I truly believe it's the best product on the market. After 30 years of installing, most all the other manufacturers, this one's proven to be the best product. Yeah, I mean, we accommodate our customers. A lot of times it goes with the house may have been done with a certain brand, and now they want to match the garage. That's usually where that comes into play mostly.
and you'll be more than happy to do
course.
that. Okay, so let me ask you a question. You said Owens Corning, and isn't it more important to, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, the installer more important than the brand though, right?
Of course, it's having the proper installed shingle with being platinum certified through Owens Corning. The guys, the crews, they're all certified, so they all get tested. And then what's really nice is that peace of mind is that Owens Corning goes out and inspects our roofs. They'll go check them to make sure that they're being installed properly.
So the Owens Corning checking your work.
Exactly. So it's a third party. So, everybody's going to tell you how great they are. They're going to tell you it's done right. 99% of homeowners don't know if they got a good roof or not. But by having an independent inspector, they grade us. We have to hold ourselves and our company to high standards.
In order to maintain the platinum status.
Exactly.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't even realize that was that. And again, there's a lot of, certifications. Aaron, you're certified, right?
Through Certainteed, yes.
Okay, so the top manufacturers of roofing is Certainteed, GAF, Owens Corning. Would you consider IKO and Tamco in the same levels?
No.
Okay, we have a consensus. Brad, you're certified.
Yep, Certainty, GAF, and Owens and Corning.
Okay, cool. And then Bill, you guys are also, right?
Certainty and GAF, you got it.
Okay, and does that make a difference, Bill, when a homeowner says to you, I like Kanga roof, they hop to it, but I heard Tittle Brothers is platinum, or whatever. Is it more the homeowner buying because they like the guy sitting in front of them?
Well, I mean, buying as a whole, yeah, it's a very emotional journey that they're going to go through. Having the certifications, though, is important. And whether it's through Certainteed, whether it's Owens Corning, one of the key factors for any homeowner, and the reason you're going to want that is, we've talked before about it, the lifetime warranties, right?
Yeah.
A lifetime warranty really isn't worth a whole lot in my estimation. However, every manufacturer has upgraded or deluxe warranties. In Certainteed's case, they do the 3, the 4, and the 5-star. I know GAF is Silver Pledge, Gold Pledge. I think Owens is Platinum, and
Yep.
I forget what Platinum's the top one, right?
Platinum's the top, yeah.
Yeah.
So, to play on what he's talking about is, it's really peace of mind for the homeowners. When you tell somebody you're giving them a 50-year warranty on the roof, You know, most people say, well, I don't need a 50-year warranty. Well, I know you don't, but while you're here, it's peace of mind knowing that you're taken care of from one of the largest shingle manufacturers in the industry.
I think the longer the warranty, the better. Just because if you're ever going to sell your house, and it's transferable, isn't it?
Fully transferable.
Yeah, that's important.
The next homeowner has to pay $100 to transfer.
To register, yeah.
But you know, it's when somebody goes to look at your house when you go to sell your house. First thing the new homeowner asks, how's the roof? How's the furnace?
Insurance companies. The first thing the insurance company does is insure your house. Aaron, you and I have had a conversation in the past about malarkey shingles. They're just coming into this territory now. Aaron, you've done roofing around the country.
I have.
So malarkey used to tell me it was a great shingle.
Yeah, out west, we were talking a little bit about insurance. There was a time that I actually did. I was an insurance adjuster, so I had the opportunity to inspect roofs across the country. I've done roofing across the country. Out west, the malarkey shingle was big. It was available in this market, but it was under a private label that I won't discuss.
Thunder something.
Exactly.
$9 a square foot.
I've seen it actually perform very, very well. I've seen it impacted by larger than 2-inch diameter hail. A roof, a typical asphalt roof gets just smashed. The house next door, a 2-year-old Malarkey Legacy, it looked great.
Is that because it's SBS?
That's because it was SBS.
All right, we're going to delve into that too. I just want to make sure. So that's interesting that you say that. So Malarkey's now coming into the marketplace here, but again, it's the evolution of the shingle business in that. Text a couple people said, what are your opinions on metal roofing, and do you guys work in Lapeer, Michigan? We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about if homeowners should get 3 bids, 4 bids, 9 bids, or no bids. Well, how do you do that? We're going to figure that out, and we're going to give advice when we come back. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Shout out to Julie Slam and Olivia. They're listening to the show this morning. They want to get a roof that doesn't leak either. I can tell them where to get the best roofers. So this is the Roofing Roundtable 2019. We've assembled some of the core Hire It Done roofers. Brad, Klaus from Exterior Experts in the house.
From Peaks.
Thanks for promoting somebody else, Adam.
Yeah, way to go.
You get to hit me.
Boy,
You get to knock me. I apologize. Aaron Snoeberger from We're the Guys.
You sure about that?
Yes, I'm positive. Positive. Now I feel terrible.
I'm taking you off the cookie list now.
That's the best. By the way, Brad, Klaus's wife, makes the best cookies ever. Like, should be a professional.
She does. She does it for a living.
Yeah. Is there a Facebook page we can?
Yep.
What's it called?
Sweet Bee Cookies.
Sweet Bee Cookies. There's a free plug for her. Tell her. Dozen at a time. Bill Jr. from Kanga. Good
How's
morning. Everything's good?
Everything's great, man.
Greg Tittle, Tittle Brothers.
Good morning.
So, 3-bid myth. When a homeowner goes to hireitdone.com, we give them 4 names, and then we have them meet up to 4. But they decide. We tell them to interview on the phone and invite the roofer over the house that you feel comfortable with. And typically they invite 2 or 3, or maybe sometimes 4. But let me ask Greg. Greg, you don't have a problem when you're competing against roofers that are of this caliber.
Absolutely not.
When does it become an issue?
Well, the guys that have come, that have elevated themselves to this level, they're educated, they know what they're doing, they're going to give you good solid bids. They realize there's overhead, making sure you have enough money in the account to, if there is a problem, to be able to go back and take care of the customer. The downside is the guys that's tough to, that's hard to compete against are the guys that work out of their house, no comp, no liability. That's tough to compete against, because obviously, if somebody falls off your roof and gets hurt, breaks their neck or leg or whatever the case is, your homeowners will not cover that. It's spelled out that if you hire an unlicensed or uninsured contractor, it's on you. So you have Sam Bernstein knocking on your front door, and no matter who it is, a good friend, neighbor, whatever, somebody gets hurt, the whole ball game changes.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured. I wanted to make sure. So you're okay competing against the other Hire It Done guys?
I prefer.
Right.
That's,
Instead of the guy looking to make payroll on a Friday and just, What happens? Have you ever heard? And Bill, let me ask you: have you ever heard a homeowner tell you, "Oh, I had this guy knock on my door. They had extra shingles."
Oh, all the time. That or he was driving by and he claimed I had a blown off. He said he could get me a free roof. I mean, those are. I'd always be wary of that. I mean, that's if they don't have 30, 40 Google reviews, if they don't have a website, if they don't have a storefront, they're working out of their house. I mean, those are all big indicators that you should be looking for as a homeowner.
Exactly. Aaron, what happens when you go to a house and the homeowner's like, "Yeah, you're like my sixth guy." I can't even begin to tell. How does that even happen?
I like to be able to find that information out as soon as I can too. So I usually have some probing questions. I'll ask, how many bids have you got? When I get a reply like that, I usually like to ask them, well, what didn't you like out of those 6 previous bids and those roofers that you're still continuing to seek more bids?
Well, that's the thing. Why, they forget, and you said it earlier, Greg, the homeowners forget after they've had 5, 6, 7 bids. Brad, you what do you even do?
Normally, we walk in. If I find out there's that many bids, I ask them what they're looking for, because they're looking for something special. Somebody either hasn't given it to them or they have no clue what they're looking at, and they're just looking for the cheapest bid.
Do you work in Lapeer, Michigan?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the person who texted, if you work in Lapeer, all our guys do. What are the opinions on metal roofing? Brad, you do metal roofs.
Yep, we do a little bit of it. It has its good points and it has its bad points. I mean, it just depends on the style of house, the pricing, what you're willing to put into it, what type of metal you want to put in it. Are you putting a metal panel on? Are you putting a metal shingle on? Are you insulating it underneath to keep it quiet and keep it done? Are you using a vented deck with it? Are you not using a vented deck with it? Are you just throwing it over a shingle? There's a million options to go with that.
Let me ask you this, as an expert, because you do both. Would you rather have a metal roof or a 50-year asphalt roof?
Truthfully, me personally, I don't like metal roofs, but that's my personal opinion. I mean, everything I have, I even have a cabin up north and it has shingles on it.
What percentage do you think of the roofs out there are metal?
Today?
Yeah.
It's probably a little higher than what it used to be.
But
It's
less
probably,
than 5%, right?
I should say it's probably 5 to 7% out there.
Okay, so it's very rare.
Yep.
Small. That's what I figured. I wasn't sure. Bill Jr. from Kanga Roof. What kind of advice can you give homeowners right now who are listening that when you go to the house, you want them prepared to know or to make a decision? What kind of advice can you give them?
The best advice I can ever give to a homeowner is do your research before you ever have a contractor out there. There's a lot with as flat as the world is now. You're going to be able to tell right off the get-go if they're a legitimate contractor or not. One of the things I talk to my guys about is, as buyers, we like to put ourselves up in the clouds and want to think, well, oh man, this guy who was only $8,000 and Kanga was $12,000, I'm sure he's going to do the same quality work. And it's like, that's probably not the case. You can hope for the best, but if there's not a recourse because they aren't insured or they don't have a building or they don't have a website, they're not part of the BBB, you don't have a recourse to go through, you're kind of up the creek if they don't do a good job. And that's where you have roofs that instead of going 30, 40 years are burning out after 10, 12, 15 years. That's really a fundamental problem. It's ventilation. It's all those different things.
There's a lot to the technology of roofing. Greg, what about you? What do you want homeowners to know when you come to the house?
Well, I always say if it's too good to be true, it probably is. It's not what you get for your money, it's what you don't get for your money. I could save somebody $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 like that on a roof. It's the parts, components. You really truly get what you pay for. Do your research and just make sure if you get that gut feeling and you feel good about that contractor, there's nothing wrong with hiring him right on the spot.
It's okay to say yes.
I think in today's society we're getting so hung up on getting 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 bids, whatever it is. And the fact of the matter is, if you get a contractor out there that you like, that's educated, that's hitting all the bullet points, that's writing down everything that's going to be on your roof. Like a lot of guys say 6 feet of ice guard. Well, what kind of ice guard? 6 feet or felt paper. What kind of felt paper? If they don't spec out exactly what they're doing and the products they're putting on your roof, what's the incentive of them spending the extra money for the upper end underlayments and ice guard? There's no incentive. They're going to cut every corner they can. So, do your research. Make sure that they're part of the Better Business Bureau. Make sure they're certified with whatever manufacturer. That just reassures you that you're getting the best products Probably not the cheapest price, but at usually 9 times out of 10 we're usually right in the middle. There's usually
Well, that's
somebody
neat.
higher and somebody lower.
Hired done contractors are never the most expensive, and they're never the cheapest. They're always in the middle. We've assembled the roofing roundtable here. We've got Brad Klaus from Peaks Construction, Aaron Snoeberger from We're the Guys. We've got Bill Burkhardt Jr., who just said is the Earth flat? You said flat Earth? Is that what I heard earlier?
From a tech standpoint,
okay.
let's just say we're still sitting on a big marble here.
Bill Burkhardt Jr. from Kanga Roof and Greg Tittle from the Tittle brothers. So, getting 3 bids, it's okay to, and this is a message to the homeowners that are listening around. It's okay to say yes. Now, let's talk about technology, how technology has impacted the roofing industry. Aaron, let me ask you a question. The roof report, the satellite photo. I know that the hired done guys all go on the roof still, but how is it a valuable tool for you?
It sure is. It saves a tremendous amount of time. You have to double check to make sure it's right. Obviously.
Measure twice, cut once.
That's right. Technology, it's not flawless, but it sure can cut down on, and it helps with the homeowner too. It gives us more time to educate them on what it is that we're actually providing and the service that they're going to receive, rather than spending our time pulling a tape measure. Time is the most valuable thing to everyone.
That makes sense.
So if we've got to spend an hour to measure a huge roof, and then we need another hour with the homeowner, well, they've lost half their day.
Well, the homeowner, like Google, they want the answer now. How much is the roof, right? They don't want to hear everything else. Everyone just wants to know the price. I mean, that's the reality of it. So saving time on that part, that's a very good point. I appreciate that. Brad, let me ask you a question. Do you use a roof report?
Yeah, we use a couple different ones. I always do 1 or 2 just to make sure that they're correct, but we still do a final measure just to make sure that everything's going to be correct when we do our orders. So,
okay, and that makes perfect sense. And again, do you find time is a valuable tool or an asset for homeowners?
It is, and a lot of homeowners are not wanting to sit down for an hour and 2 hours with you. They're trying to push you out the door in 25, 30 minutes, and I'm sure everybody's seen it through here.
How much is it? Let me ask you this. What's a thorough amount of time that you need to really explain to a homeowner they need a roof?
You need a good 45 minutes to spend with somebody.
So you can go in and out in 45 minutes?
Yep.
Okay, so that's fair. Can you do it for 45 minutes, Aaron?
I can do it in 45 minutes. What generally happens, though, that's 100% comprehension of what we're talking about.
There's a question.
There's a few questions that go back and forth. Obviously, I understand the value of their time, so I try not to get long-winded, and I can be. So I tell them up front, hey, if I'm getting long-winded, please don't let me bore you.
Okay.
Let me, let's get to the help me get to the point. Tell me you understand. And
all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more of the Roofing Roundtable. If you have a question, text us 97136. I'm Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire It Done Radio Network. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. We've assembled some of the best roofers in the industry. Brad Klaus, Peaks Construction. I'll say it again, Peaks Construction. Aaron Snoeberger from Suburban Home Improvement, also known as We're the Guys. They also do brick pavers. They're pretty good, too. Shout out to Dina Daniels, right?
She's watching, I'm sure.
Yeah, she's the best.
I agree.
Bill Burkhardt Jr., Flat Earther. Kangaroo. He hops to it.
Absolutely. All day, every day.
And Greg Tittle Brothers. So, Greg, you mentioned at the break about there's more to roofing than just the shingle.
There really is. A lot of guys, a lot of companies get into just talking about the shingle, the installation, and all that. But there's way more than that. It's all about the whole system. It's proper intake, proper exhaust, proper ventilation, and proper insulation.
They're all interlaced, and they
really are.
One release to the other. Exactly.
And today we require an R49 in the attic for insulation. We are certified with Owens Corning in installation. 99% of the houses we go into are way under insulated.
So they also can save energy by doing that.
They can. They say that for every inch that you're short on insulation, it costs you about $100 a year.
Whoa! So 10 inches,
$1,000.
I love it. So, Bill, from Bill Jr. from Kanga Roof, do you agree with what Greg said about the other components?
Absolutely. We never talk about your roof. We always stress talking about your roofing system because it's all interdependent. It's all interrelated. If your ventilation isn't balanced, if it's not operating properly, you're going to burn out those shingles. You're going to see blistering. You're going to see thermal cracking. And it's good. Here's the scary part for the homeowner. If you did have one of those warranties, and the installer didn't ventilate it properly, you're up the creek at that point, because
so the
that's the
warranty
big.
is not void. It's void.
Yeah, that's
Makes
the big
sense.
exclusionary language in though.
So Brad Klaus Peaks Construction, you mentioned something at the break too about inspectors. Sometimes with ventilation, not knowing exactly what the manufacturer.
Correct. We've had run-ins with a few of the inspectors this year where they're finally putting permits in cities and things like that, and they're pushing the 1 to 300 ratios with vents having to be within 3 feet of the top of the roof, which excludes venting your garages and stuff like that because they're open chambers. But the manufacturer pushes 1 to 150, and we try to push that to keep the warranties. So it's kind of a hit and miss thing, because you can put vents at 1 to 300 have to be in a specific place. If you go to 1 to 150, it doesn't matter where you put vents.
So can you, for the listener out there, explain what 1 to 150 means and 1 to 300?
1 to 300 is the ventilation standards. For every 100 coming in, 300's going out. 1 to 150 is you're almost a 1-to-1 ratio. So you've got as much coming in as you got going out as exhaust.
Okay.
So, and that's what's keeping your roof alive, because if you don't ventilate that way, whether the cities agree with it or not, you lose your warranties on everything. So the cities have to get on board with us as well, so that we can ventilate them the way they're supposed to be, because no homeowner wants to spend $10,000 on a roof and not get a warranty.
Makes sense. Aaron, when you go to a house and you're talking about ventilation, does the homeowner look at you like you're speaking a different language?
Sometimes. As we talked before, the questions, that's where things can go a little bit longer because there's a little bit more explanation. But it's a requirement, not only with the warranty, but if they're expecting the longevity of that product over a certain period. I bought a 30-year shingle, I got a lifetime shingle. You don't ventilate it, more than half it's going to be cut down, not to mention the damage that it causes to the wood, the moisture buildup in those spaces. We insulated and ventilated three of our installs this week, all insulation, all new ventilation, and it had to happen.
How important is it to add insulation to roofs today?
It's just as a functional component of your roof as a nail. Your roof will not work the way it's supposed to if there's not proper insulation.
Okay, so what does insulation do to a roof? What's the impact? Is it the temperature control? What exactly is it?
It has a lot to do with temperature control. Obviously, the attic spaces are hot. It also has to do with moisture control. If you think about the amount of energy that's lost through your ceilings in the wintertime and the amount of water that's actually in the air that we breathe.
Sure.
If it escapes through your ceiling and it gets to the cold roof deck, it freezes water across the top of it. You
Right.
can have a waterfall inside your, depending on the conditions, inside your home and not even know it. It's rotting from the inside out.
That makes sense. Greg Tittle Brothers. Besides a roof, what other components are add-ons today? You got insulation, like you said. How often do homeowners do gutters?
Quite a bit, roofing, gutters kind of go hand in hand.
So that's a new thing, yeah. So roofing
Yeah, I mean,
gutters.
it's a good idea. The general rule of thumb when you replace your roof, replace your gutters. With the guys installing the roofs, they put boards and protect the gutters as best possible. But
Sure.
you got to. We come out, depending on the size of the house, we'll come out with 20 guys. They're bouncing around on your house, so going back and forth on your gutters. But just to add a little bit on the ventilation real quick, ventilation is so critically important. It has to do with air quality. If you have a lot of allergies, think about all that stagnant air that's setting in your attic. If you're not pulling in fresh air, the rule of thumb is generally the perfect scenario is to make the attic temperature the same as it is outside. That would be perfect. Keeping the heat or air inside the house. Air quality, moving that air, moving it circulated, keeping the roof deck dry. Venting your bathrooms and kitchen vents through the roof. Insulating them bathroom vents. So without doing the whole system and having a contractor that knows ventilation inside and out, I was fortunate or unfortunate enough to go through the ice damming of 1996.
I remember
and
that.
we had to get educated real quick. We never seen ice damming before. And we had to get educated real quick and brought up to speed on how to do things. Fortunately, the manufacturers jumped on board and spent millions of dollars to educate their contractors.
They had
we
to.
never seen nothing like it.
It's funny you should say that. Ice damming. not 100% built in Michigan. Is ice damming 100% preventable?
No.
There are times when it's going to happen.
Certain houses, the way they're built, it's just you can't avoid it.
Yeah. What do I tell homeowners? 85% of it's going to be from improper ventilation. But there are homes, especially some of these newer ones with these steep peaks and valleys.
Angles, cuts everywhere.
Hey, what way is it facing? Is it facing east, west, north, south? Those all play factors in it. And without putting on aftermarket heat tape, I mean, sometimes there's really no other solution.
Okay, and that makes sense. So is the roof usually a one-day job, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of homes are going to be between, somewhere between 18 and 30 squares or 1,800 to 3,000 square feet, and those are all going to be one-day jobs. Once you start getting into homes that are going to have, 40, 45, 50 plus squares in a day, yeah, it generally starts to branch into the 2-day. Same thing with the heat. There's a lot of jobs right now that otherwise would have been a 1 day that are 2 days because we got to protect our guys and we got to protect your home.
And the key is just communicating with the homeowner.
Bingo.
Hey, Aaron, what about when you go to a house and there's some fascia, soffit, rotted wood? Do you guys include the replacement of that?
Absolutely. It's something that should be addressed. Again, there's moisture being held in that, and it's exposed to the roof. So you don't want that stuff in your attic. It can breed mold. You would like to, and we're there. It'll be easier for us to do it at that point.
Of course. That's what I figured. And Brad, you guys do more than just roofing. You'll replace the soffits, the overhangs.
We've rebuilt soffits, overhangs on houses. We've had to rebuild rafter tails on them because they've leaked for years on end.
What about the houses with no soffits? The drip edge venting. Is that, you do that?
We don't do the drip edge venting. We use the smart vent. Most guys out there are using that today.
What's the difference between drip edge vent and smart vent?
Drip edge vents cut right at the very bottom, and it's got a vent. You're supposed to take the gutters off the house and then remount them underneath it to install it properly so it doesn't back up with ice. But if your gutters back up with ice, it's too easy for it to have water come in. The smart vent actually mounts on the top deck, and we vent it that way, and it has ice and water above, below it, plus you're shingled over it, so it has more layers of protection, and it's a lot harder to see ice in that back into the houses.
Okay, so the smart vent. Greg, do you use the smart vent
Yes,
too?
we do.
So anyone out there listening right now, if there's no overhangs, there's a solution.
Oh, absolutely. It's that smart vent or edge vent. You'll hear people call it that as well. Bungalows, that's pretty much what you're getting.
Yeah, knee walls all got to be vented.
Yep.
You're not allowed to use a metal vent anymore. Just certain cities you go to, if they see you even use that for an intake source, they'll boycott it and make you take it right back out.
That's perfect. Well, gentlemen, see how it goes so quick? Brad, Klaus, Peaks Construction, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Aaron Snoeberger, we're the guy, Suburban.
Always a pleasure, Adam. Thank you.
Great to have you, my friend. Bill Jr., Flat Earth, Kanga Roof.
Hopping to it.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Greg, Tittle Brothers.
Great time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And this is, what, as we wrap things up, I want to thank you guys. But this is what validates Hire Don and the team. Because really, you guys, no one does better roofs. Period. I guarantee it myself. That's how good we are. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Want to thank everyone. My name's Adam Helfman. You're listening to the Hire Done Radio Network. We'll see you next week.